Good morning. Welcome to Tuesday Morning Live. Let's take a quick look at what the markets are doing to begin the day. And let me know in the chat what you're watching today, what you're thinking, what you think of Bitcoin today. And yeah, as you saw in the title and thumbnail, a possible rant. And if you can put two and two together, I probably will have a minor rant about X, possibly, specifically the X monetization program. But before we get into that rant that I'm so eager to share with you all, and I'm sure many of you already know my opinion, let's take a look at what the markets are doing as we have now officially opened the markets as it is now past 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Is it Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daylight Time right now? I'm not exactly sure. Okay, so just here on yahoofinance.ca. I think that's the version of Yahoo. And the big headline, Anglo American tech resources to merge in largest mining deal of the decade. Anglo Tech will be headquartered in Canada with a primary listing in London, the company says. Okay, I'm not overly interested in that. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to know more. This is the one that caught my eye earlier. Talk of recession is growing in Canada. I do kind of feel like it's already here. I mean, there's just been so many things going on in the Canadian economy over the last few years from the pandemic to now with obviously, the massive inflation through the pandemic, and now we're into, well, not into, we've been into it for nearly a decade now, a housing crisis, mass immigration, more people coming in than roofs to house all these people. So I think the writing's been on the wall for quite some time that a recession is growing or is already here in Canada. And then of course, the whole tariff situation with the US, obviously the US always has been and always will be Canada's largest trading partner by far. And as much as other, you know, governments or companies want Canada to expand further into global markets, which is fine. Sure, try your best to sell to Europe and Asia and Australia or wherever else, but it's simple geography, right? It's simply just look at the map and the geography to everything we need to know about the Canada-US trade relationship. The US, the by far the biggest economy in the world, and Canada right there at the doorstep. So that's never going to change no matter sort of what the tariff situation is. There's always going to be American companies buying from Canadian companies. And yeah, those American companies are simply going to have to absorb that cost or pass that cost of the tariffs along to their consumers, which is also unfortunate for the American companies and consumers that they're basically being taxed, hit with an extra tax is really all that is. So, tariff is just another way of saying tax, in my opinion. Well, I mean, I think it's more than an opinion. The actual markets, though. So, do we have any data for the start of the day? Loading chart. So, just as we're 7 minutes into open, we're just in slight green territory. So, way too early in the day to predict if that is going to hold through the day as being green or if it will end up red. And then we can take a look at what else is right there. Oh, I got to click to US here to get the S&P 500 again. Also, just minutes into the trading day, but here we are in slightly green territory. Again, way too early in the day to predict if that will be a trend through the day and have a surge or if it will end up being red. It does look like the Dow already had a little bit of an early morning surge. Like I said, we're just 7 or 8 minutes into the trading day as of right now, but still in green territory. So we'll see. All Generally, when all the markets start out green, it tends to be a good day. Same with Nasdaq, starting out in green territory. As like I said, we're now just 7, 8 minutes into the trading day. And what else do we have here? The Russell. Let's actually take a look at the Russell for fun. don't often look at it, and no data yet. So it does say plus 385 as of market open. So okay, and let's actually, for fun, because we don't do this too often, we'll take a look at the FTSE in England, in London, and obviously they are well into their trading day now at, is that right? 2:30 in the afternoon? I think the math's there. So it looks like they've had quite the green day and then retreating later in the afternoon, which is also quite common. And I believe this is Paris. I was thinking Germany there for a second. Again, very green day, dipping into red territory down here. Looks like, or is that the red line or is that the red line? It is showing green for the entire day, so we're still above green territory in France. The DAX, and this one actually is in red. So okay, they've looks like they've lost quite a bit today. And the DAX, if I'm not mistaken, this one is Germany. It's not telling me right here, but yeah, losses throughout the day, which again is normal. Which is normal as we go through the global markets. Asia, I'm sure the Asian markets would be closed by this time. And so it looks like they closed, the Nikkei in Japan closed in red territory, volume not available. So we'll just kind of, I guess, skip that one. The Hang Seng, which is it in Hong Kong or Shanghai? But also looks like it closed out the day in green territory, up 304 points. Pretty good day there. And the one other thing I wanted to take a look at, which I saw actually when we were on Canada over here, it's in Canadian dollars, but that's fine. We can still take a look at Bitcoin. Of course, Bitcoin never closes. And the Canadian price of Bitcoin right now is 155,863. Green territory for the last 24 hours, up from, where was it yesterday at this time? 24 hours ago, 154 roughly. I think that's what I'm trying to see there. 154, 299, if you see that on the right-hand side of the screen. So yeah, that's a quick look at the markets and what's going on as we start this day. A beautiful sunny September Tuesday morning here in Eastern Ontario. And yeah, so thank you all so much for clicking on this video. I am going to try to do more live streams when I have time, when I'm not out driving around. I can hit stop sharing there. Okay. Yeah. Oh, and I am still repping the Team Water merch. So of course, go and I head over there to teamwater.org and keep donating. The month of August was obviously a humongous, gigantic success. All the creators that created content. I've already put out a little thank you video. You may have seen that. It was just sort of a 2-minute long video saying thank you to everyone. Thank you to Mr. Beast and Mark Rober for organizing the event, the fundraiser throughout the entire month of August, raising well over $40 million. And thank you to all the content creators that made content, videos on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, all the creators that supported the idea of getting clean drinking water and clean water to people in need, to millions of people around the world for decades to come. So massive success. And again, obviously huge shout out and thank you to you that you donated and made it all possible and made it happen. Okay, I did say off the top I might get into a little bit of a rant on the X monetization policy, which I'll try to keep brief. And I think a lot of us have the same frustrations through this it started around well, for me, it started right at the end of March. I think others, it might have started maybe a little earlier, end of February, middle of March, maybe into April. So quick backstory is I was monetized on X at the beginning of August 2024. And I thought, this is awesome. I get paid every 2 weeks, not a lot, like 15 to 30 or 35 USD, which for me translates into Canadian dollars. It was a nice little exchange rate. And, this is going great. I'm getting paid a little money every 2 weeks to just post on X, something I would be doing anyway, right? And so it went great from the beginning of August 2024 to the end of March 2025. And then just out of nowhere, like so many others, X just stopped paying. And it was like, what's going on here? And I've been thinking for a long time to do a proper video about the topic, and I really should do a proper video on the topic. So let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a proper video. But I don't know what I could explain in that video. That's sort of the problem, right? There is zero transparency from X. There is zero customer support, no customer service. You can't phone them. You try to DM them, like send a direct message to Premium, and you just get an AI reply from Grok, and it comes back saying, "Oh, you just haven't met the $10 threshold for payment." Well, if I met the $10 threshold for payment every single 2 weeks between the beginning of August and the end of March 2024 to 2025, you would think between now March 28th to, we're quickly approaching the middle of September now, that, you'd think you'd hit that $10, right? And the other thing is, I have not officially been paused. Mine still says you're on track for payouts, which is even more frustrating. The people who were at least officially paused could apply to be on paused and go through that process. But when you're just sort of in this ghost pause or purgatory where you're still on track to be paid out, but not getting any payouts, it's extremely frustrating. And again, this isn't about the money, right? $15 or 20, 25, 30 USD. Sure, it's fun, it's good money, and not like, I'm not saying it's great money, like it's not like we're all out here making hundreds or thousands of dollars every 2 weeks posting on X, but $20 is $20 at the end of the day. So, but also what I'm trying to say is it's not about the money, it's about the lack of transparency, the lack of communication, the lack of customer support, just the lack of everything all around on X's behalf. Like, why? And I even, just a few days ago, some of you may saw the post I put out, dear Uncle Elon, and I tagged Elon in the post saying, if you start paying me again on X, I'll continue paying you for the blue check mark. Because that's another thing. Like, I've paid for it annually the last couple of years, and now I'm thinking, like, is it worth it to rebuy, to renew my subscription for the blue check mark if X is not going to pay me? Like, that was kind of the whole point in the first place of getting the blue check mark, is to be eligible for monetization. So, like I said, it was going to turn into a little bit of a rant one way or the other. Thank you for listening to my rant, and I think a lot of you are in the same boat. I know a lot of you are. I've obviously seen a lot of other posts on X, people in the exact same situation as me who are in this ghost pause situation where you're not payouts, but you're not getting paid, which is extremely, I think it's the most frustrating situation to be in, because there's nothing we can do. Like I said, if you're paused, you can at least apply to figure getting reinstated, right? And if you've never been paused, wow, great, that's awesome, that's great for you, right? And I also should say, I'm not hating on the people who are still getting paid. I love it that you guys are still getting your fair share, and that's amazing. So, kudos and hats off to everyone who is still getting their fair share of the payouts every 2 weeks. But it would be really nice if all of us who are in this ghost pause purgatory could also be ghosted, on paused, on purgatory. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you all so much for joining me on this Tuesday morning. I am going to try to do this more often when I'm not out driving. I know I said that last time, and that was 2 weeks ago. So we'll see how I do, but I do definitely want to get more content out on this channel on the Passive Income and Political podcast. I do want to start having guests on again soon. So again, hopefully I can get some guests lined up, live streams with the guests. We used to do that almost once a month on Sundays, and I'm slacking this year on putting it together, so I apologize for that. But I would definitely love to get those Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon live streams going again as well. And I would definitely want to get some more guests on here also. So keep an eye open for your DMs, because this is basically fair warning that I am going to start bugging people again. Okay, thank you all so much for joining. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave me a comment below, and I will see you in the next one.